इस मोड़ पर घबरा के न थम जाइए आप, जो बात नहीं है उसे अपनाइए आप, डरते हैं नई राह पे क्यों चलने से, हम आगे आगे चलते हैं आइए आप। नई दुनिया है, नया दौर है, नई है उमंग।
वाह वाह, बहुत अच्छा।
नई दुनिया है, नया दौर है, नई है उमंग। कुछ थे पहले के तरीके तो कुछ है आज के रंग ढंग। रोशनी आके अंधेरों से जो टकराई है, काले धन को भी बदलना पड़ा आज अपना रंग। I now come to an important change in the personal income tax. While the government is trying to bring within its tax net more people who are evading taxes, the present burden of taxation is mainly on the taxpayer and the salaried employees who are showing their income correctly. Therefore, post-demonetization, there is a legitimate expectation of this class of people to reduce their burden of taxation. Also, an argument is made that if nominal rate of taxation is kept at a lower slab, more people will prefer to come within the tax rate. I therefore propose to reduce the existing rate of taxation for individual assessees between the income 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs to 5% instead of the present rate of 10%. This would reduce the tax liability of all persons below rupees 5 lakhs income either to zero with a rebate or 50% of their existing liability. In order not to have any duplication of benefit, the existing benefit of rebate available to the same group of beneficiaries being reduced to 2,500 available only if to the assessees with income up to 3.5 lakhs. The combined effect of both these measures will mean that there would be a zero tax liability for a person getting income up to 3 lakh rupees and a tax liability of only 2,500 for people with an income of 3 to 3.5 lakhs. If limit of rupees 1.5 lakhs under section 80C investment is used fully, tax would be zero for people with an income up to rupees 4.5 lakhs. While taxation liability of people with income up to 5 lakhs is being reduced to half, all other categories of taxpayers in the subsequent brackets will also get a uniform benefit of 12,500 per person. The total amount of tax foregone on this account of measure is therefore 15,500 crores. In order to make good some loss of revenue on account of this relief, I propose to levy a surcharge of 10% of tax payable on this category of individual whose annual taxable income is between 50 lakhs and 1 crore. The existing surcharge of 15% on people earning more than 1 crore will continue. This is likely to give me an additional revenue of rupees 2,700 crores. In order to expand the tax net, I plan to have a simple one-page form to be filed as an income tax return in the category of income individuals having a taxable income up to rupees 5 lakh other than business income. Also, a person of this category who files an income tax return for the first time would not be subject to any scrutiny for the first year unless there is some specific information available with the department with regard to any high-value transaction. I appeal to all citizens of India to contribute to national building by making a small payment of 5% of tax if their income falls in the lowest slab of 2.5% to lakhs to rupees 5 lakhs. Some other important amendments in the tax laws which are not covered in my speech are given in Annexure 3 to this budget. There has been a substantial progress towards ushering the GST, by far the biggest tax reform since independence. Since the enactment of the Constitution 101st Amendment Act 2016, the preparatory work of the path-breaking reform has been a top priority for the government. In this context, several teams of officers, both of the state and the Central Board of Excise and Customs, have been working tirelessly to give finishing touches to the model GST law and the rules and other details. Government on its part has promptly given effect to various provisions of the Constitution Amendment, including constitution of the GST Council. Since then, the GST Council has had 9 meetings to discuss the various issues relating to the GST, including the broad contours of the GST tax rate, threshold exemption, and parameters for the composition of details of compensation to the states due to implementation of the GST, examination of the draft model GST law, draft IGST law, and the compensation law and the administrative mechanism for the GST. It is my privilege to inform the August House that the GST Council has finalized its recommendation on almost all issues based on consensus and after a spirited debate and discussion. The preparedness of the IT system of the GST is also on schedule. The extensive reach-out effort to the trade and industry will start on the 1st of April 2017 to make them aware of the new taxation system. Through the Central Board of Excise and Customs shall continue to strive to achieve the goal of implementation of the GST as per schedule without compromising the spirit of cooperative federalism. Implementation of the GST is likely to bring more taxes both to the centre and the state because of widening of the tax net. I have preferred not to make many changes in the current regime of excise and service tax because they are to be replaced by the GST very soon. In the annual conclave of tax officers called Rajastha Gyana Sangam, held in June 2016, the Prime Minister had expressed his desire to bring reforms in the tax administration in the approach of RAPID, which stands for Revenue Accountability, Probity, Information and Digitization. This approach precisely reflects the strategy of the tax department which it has now formulated. For revenue considerations always remain the focus of the revenue department, we are trying to bring the maximum use of information technology to remove the human contact with the assessee as well as to plug tax avoidance. We will try and minimize our efforts for e-assessments maximize our efforts for e-assessment in the coming year. We are also using a lot of data mining capability both in-house and outsourced. We plan to enforce greater accountability on the officers of the tax department for specific acts of commission and omission. I would like to assure that the honest tax compliant would be treated with dignity and courtesy. Madam, my tax proposals for the exemptions would result in a loss of rupees 22,700 crores, but after counting the revenue gain of rupees 2,700 crores for additional resource mobilization, the net revenue loss in direct tax could be 20,000 crores. There is no significant loss or gain on account of my indirect tax proposals. Madam Speaker, I have outlined in the budget proposals under an overarching agenda, transform, energize and clean India. Our emphasis will now be on implementing all these proposals for the benefit of farmers and the poor and the underprivileged sections of our society. Madam Speaker, it is said, when my aim is right, when my goal is in sight, the winds favor me and I fly. There is no other day which is more appropriate for this than today. With these words, Madam, I commend the budget to this Honourable House.
Yes, Minister, to table the statement. Item number 2. Lay the table. Statement.
Madam, I rise to lay on the table of the House the following statements under Section 3 of the Fiscal Responsibility and the Budget Management Act 2003, Macroeconomic Framework Statement, Medium-Term Fiscal Policy Statement, and Fiscal Policy Strategy Statement.
Now introduce the finance.
Madam, I rise to move for leave to introduce the Finance Bill 2017.
The question is that leave be granted to introduce the Finance Bill 2017. Those in favor may say aye. Those against may say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The leave is granted. The minister may now introduce the.
Madam, I introduce the bill.